Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
All right, guys, so you have heard us talk before on the show about the awesome new film Eight Eyes, which is making the festival circuit now and getting rave reviews. And we're happy to sit down tonight with three of its stars, Bradford Thomas, Bruno Veljanovski, and Emily Sweet. So welcome to the show, everyone.
Yay.
For having us.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on because we really love the movie.
Especially Bruno, which we found out is at 2 a.m. where he is. So that's dedication. I tell you,
that's super dedication.
Yeah,
of course. Glad to be here.
I'm gonna do the awkward Zoom meeting, the dreaded worst part of any Zoom meeting, which is have everybody introduce themselves and just a brief little overview of how you got started in movie making. So we'll kick it off with Bruno since he's on 2 a.m. time.
Well, thank you for putting us on the spot. Emily has like 30 plus credits, and we're gonna start off with me. Thank you. Well, this is Eight Eyes is the first full feature film where I have worked as an actor. I went to film school. I studied film and television directing. I'm actually a director and I'm a writer. Also do editing on the side, but this was my first role in a professional film, and it was basically my acting school, at least a couple of semesters of it. So that's how I got into acting, through this film, and I've done a couple of more afterwards.
Wow, I would have never thought this was your first film because
you're phenomenal.
Well, the listeners probably haven't got to see it yet unless they've hit the festival circuits. But remember what he just said, that this was his first film when you watch this, and you're going to be blown away.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Bradford, we'll go with you next.
Hi, I'm Bradford Thomas. I play Gav. This is my first film, and you will know that when you see it.
No, I wouldn't know that either. Oh my God, wow.
I miss you so much on a daily basis, Bradford.
No, it was like Bruno's. It's my first film ever, and I really just got into acting in theater productions in school. That was it. I never was a film person until I got into college. Met a few friends who were big into video editing and directing, put me in some films, some shorts. Almost 20 years later, I'm still friends with one of them, and he was affiliated with this movie, and he thought I would be good for the part. And here I am on the podcast. So
wow, that's your first film too. I can't believe it. Seriously,
I know,
you guys are so good in this.
His answer was way better. I mean, this whole language barrier is messing with me. Yeah, I'm not as eloquent.
And this person needs no introduction if you guys have listened to the show for any length of time, but I will introduce Miss Emily Sweet.
Thanks. I guess thank you for having me back. I play Cass. But real quick, Bruno, you can see him in Subspecies 5 and Hellhole, which is coming out shortly. And Brad, his movie Cannibal Mukbang is just in Brooklyn Film Festival, and The Puppet Man is coming out too, so you can see that.
Oh, we got the screener for that.
Yeah, we just got the screener for Puppet Man.
Yeah.
She's the pro in this group. She knows how to plug things. Thank you.
Yeah. But she's such a pro that she basically took our last question away, which is, guys, what do you want to plug? So I'm just giving it. No, it's okay. You know what? She did that because she's got so much to plug. She wanted that all her time at the end. We know how it really works.
Yeah. Actually, I just started the Subspecies series too. I'm not up to 5 yet. I just watched 1.
And that's a future summer slaycation. I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's going to be a series we cover at some point.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Awesome. So wait, Emily, you didn't, and not just in case, let everyone know a little bit though, because I mean, in case they haven't been listening, this is their first episode. They might not, still give them the, even though need no introduction, give them the little spiel.
actor. I've wanted to act my whole life, and so I've been fortunate enough to do it. And I love horror, and so I've tried to focus more on horror movies, and so you can see a bunch of them that are out, like Fear Farm, Castle Freak, soon to be Eight Eyes, Desert Shadows, VHS 99.
Oh yes.
But anyway, yeah.
Yes, Emily has a very good IMDb, great horror movies, and some of our favorites. Even without knowing Emily, they're like our favorite movies. It just makes it better that we happen to know her, and they're so awesome. But let's get into Eight Eyes, because that's what everyone wants to hear, and we want to hear all about it. So we can go around the room again. It's probably that's going to be kind of like the flow here, but we want to know each of you, what about this film in particular appealed to you when you guys saw the script? So I guess, we'll start with you, Emily, this time. We'll go around the other way.
Sure. So, I had worked with Matt, Justin, and Seeger and Austin in a way on Castle Freak. And so when they came to me with this, I was just excited to be able to work with them again. First of all, I didn't honestly really care what the movie was. I was like, yes, please sign me up to work with them again. But then when I read it, it was so just like gripping. I thought it was really interesting, a nice slow burn about this couple, on their honeymoon. And then like this downfall of this poor couple from this very menacing but calculated and sweet and charming, Serbian man, Macedonian man,
Slavian man. Sure, why not?
See, now I wish we could see the video because he's blushing now. So yeah, see, but,
and I thought it was a really unique story. I loved that it was going to be filmed on 16 millimeter. I'd never had that opportunity before, and I thought, will I ever have an opportunity to film something on film again? Who knows? And so I wanted to jump at the chance. Also, I'd never been to Serbia, which was awesome. So there was just many facets of the whole thing, working with those guys again, being in Serbia, working on film, and then just the story itself I thought was just really fascinating, and I wanted to be part of it.
So Bruno, you are a perfect segue into you, since Emily described you and so eloquently in her answer. So what about you? What really appealed to you about the script?
Well, I actually have a very unique standpoint on this one. Brad, I'm sorry, I'm gonna take a lot of the time now. But it's basically the first proper role I've ever been offered. I went to like auditions and stuff previously and got casted as an extra or as a what's it called, like the profiled extra, or I have a small role or something, but this was big. So I wasn't asked to do it. I was told, you got it, and now it's my job to do it. So basically that's it. And it's a very unique position from where I'm from, because me and Justin Martel, who is one of the producers of the film, we know each other from years back. We had a beer this one time when there were scouting locations in Skopje, which is the capital of Macedonia, where I'm from. And we met and we had a few beers together, and just I guess I left an impression that after like 5 years later or something, he called me. He was like, "Hey kid, how was your acting?" I was like, "Fair. No, I'm not bad." He's like, "Can you play a bad guy?" I'm like, "Yes. If something, it's a bad guy I can play." He was like, "Great. I'm gonna send you some slides, and you do the audition." So I just did the whole thing. Went to this abandoned factory. I did the audition. So I got into the what's it called, the smaller circle of whatever, And then I did another audition, and then I got the part. So I wasn't really thinking about if I'm gonna do it or not. I was like, okay, what should I pack? And I'm gonna be staying over on a couch and to go to Belgrade, into a different city in a different country, and then work on this. And that's pretty much how it happened for me, in a very non-orthodox way, I guess.
Well, I have to say I'm glad you were it, because I can't picture anyone else in that role. You were that good in it. So you kind of definitely capture the attention of the audience when every time you're in a scene. So Very well
Look
done.
at me blushing yet again.
I see. I got him to blush again. See, Tim, we might have to release this on video. I don't know. No, like, all right. What about you, Brad?
Oh wow. The script hit at the perfect time. I found it to be perfectly depressing. I just got out of a relationship a month before I read it, so it just timing was great. The crew that was going, again, my best friends from college, Justin Martell, Matt Mangiariti, Seeger Dixon. The location, I'm glad this wasn't being filmed in Secaucus, New Jersey. Right now I'm in Jersey City, so I know it all too well. Serbia sounded like a real trip, and it turned out to be one. But yeah, the script was perfect. It just hit every note for me personally. And yeah, it was the trip of a lifetime. So
Nice.
So speaking of the script, I mean, one of the best things about it was the fantastic characters. I mean, the characters are like instantly, like as Brian was saying, they're super appealing right from the very start. So the next question was like, how did you guys prepare for your role? Did you have any inspirations for your characters? And I got to start with Bruno because he's obviously the creepiest character in this movie. And it was even when Brian said, "Hey, we're getting Bruno on the podcast," I'm like, I don't know. Like he's kind of creeps me out. But I want to hear what your kind of your
made you viscerally uncomfortable.
yes. Look, I want to hear what your inspiration.
Don't
was,
typecast him. He's a nice. Look how nice he is. He's like
he's
the
a
nicest
super
guy.
nice guy. I knew he
Yeah.
would be.
Yeah,
I knew he
I
would
do
be.
comedies and stuff. Well, in the original script, when I got it, we were still planning on shooting it in Ukraine, basically, because that's what the original script was about, where it took place, and then to do all of the interior shootings in Belgrade because of production reasons and you know. So I kind of started learning Ukrainian a little bit, which is very different from my native language, which is Macedonian. And actually, the character was supposed to be from Transnistria, which is also known as the Pridnestrovian Moldovan Republic, which is this little area between Ukraine and Moldova, Moldavia, which is Moldova, I guess. And basically, and he was supposed to be an older character. He was supposed to be in his late 30s. I played St. Peter at the age of 27, and he was supposed to be like 36, 7, you know. So what it did to prepare, you know, it was late 2021. I already succumbed to the second year of the the pandemic, gaining weight and whatnot. So I was kind of almost there. I just, you know, grew my beard out and gained 6 more kilos for the role, and then a couple of more. So because that's how I could have physically, you know, embody him more. And so basically, like less than 2 weeks before we start shooting, production decides that we are gonna set it up instead of going to Odessa, Kiev, and Chernobyl in Ukraine, we're gonna make it in Belgrade, Serbia, Vranje, which is in the southern part of Serbia, and Skopje, which is at the capital of Macedonia. So a lot of the story changed, and some of the other stuff changed. So me and Austin, the director, we kind of, and also Matt Frank, who is the co-writer of the film, amongst other things. And we kind of had to kind of rewrite some of the stuff from St. Peter's background and kind of adapt them. And because there's a lot of what we know about the character that the audience doesn't know, they can only guess. But in order for me to get there, I had to know all this stuff about him. And the some of the stuff in the script changed, basically, so it did some of the stuff that I was getting prepared for the character change, but they only brought in, made it the whole process more fluid and made it made it a bit more disorienting towards wait, what's with this guy basically. So I think everything kind of turned out right as it is supposed to, as it was supposed to at the end. So after production and post production, I'm more than satisfied with how the film came out, and I'm very curious and excited for the whole world to see it as well.
Nice.
Very nice, yeah. As are we. And
Yeah.
Brad, we were joking about your mustache before we
Ah.
started recording because, but you know, I love it because it was something you could like zero in on, like instantly identify with this character because it was like just kind of like so awesome. So, what was your take on the character?
Yeah, it's a dude going through like a life crisis, a personal life crisis. So that's the mustache, right? So, you know, yeah, as I alluded to earlier, personal circumstances totally played a part in how I was going to play this character, because I'm not really a horror guy. I'm not the biggest fan of the genre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is awesome, but I never really could attach to any of the main characters that exist like in that genre, because they seem to always lose their personhood. You know, they're just plot devices, and they're just like bags of meat. So I was trying to give this person a little bit more depth, in that you could try to sympathize with him rather than just watch him meet a fate, whatever that may be. So, you know, in Montreal, they asked me the same question, and I totally like fell over my feet. I was like, yeah, you know, personal experiences, people, places, things.
Relations.
Yeah, really. That's right. Yeah, relationships.
I got you.
But yeah, as somebody, you know, my first acting gig really ever outside of like a, you know, like a college production, trying to discuss the process, I'm learning that it actually was a process. I didn't just fall, you know, we didn't just like fall into these parts. So yeah, hopefully by the end, I got a better grasp of the character and what it means to be an actor in film. So
Nice.
yeah, man. It's
Nice. And Emily, you I think you probably had to smoke like 6 cartons a day for this role.
At least no hamburgers this time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Although you
no-
did have a sandwich, I think I saw on one side there was a sandwich in there.
There was, yes, it was a bread filled with something.
But
Typical,
Baked good on the bone.
there was, when we were rehearsing, Brad and I we didn't really know where our relationship was until like sometimes that day. And so when we were rehearsing back in the States, it was like we were together, we were in love, and then sometimes it was like we are not together and not married, but just like together, faking maybe our engagement for, you know, whatever, and this and that. And so working on that was interesting, because sometimes it was, you know, okay, no, we are together, and you know, I really do love you. And then the other times it was just like, we are not, we are faking this, and we're breaking up as soon as we get home. But ultimately there's still love there regardless whether we're staying together or not staying together. And I think when certain fates are met, no spoilers, that hopefully that love like still shines through. So it was interesting working on this, because Brad and I, with Austin, and then also with Matt Frank, the co-writer, and our awesome sound guy,
Yes,
like do Zooms like this and rehearse. And it's hard to rehearse through a Zoom. You know what I mean? We were on opposite coasts, and so we couldn't really get together. And so a lot of it was like when we got to Serbia, like finally being able to kind of rehearse together. But you know, things change on the day. But that was very helpful to at least get to know you, Brad, because I've never met you before, and now you're one of my favorite people in the world. So
But I thought that felt very realistic to me. And maybe it was because of the uncertainty, because a lot of movies, you know, all that stuff is like, oh, you're madly in love, and that's how it is through the whole movie, and or you hate each other, and that's how it is through the whole movie. And I think kind of that uncertainty added a bit more realism to it. Like real life relationships, sometimes you don't know. You're kind of in this limbo. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, no,
Kind of his favorite.
yeah, no, I thought you guys played that so well. I mean, because there was like these moments like before you even before it became almost obvious that there was something going on at one point. You guys did such a good job of just like projecting that out there. Like there was always this kind of uncomfortable feeling. And anyone that's, you travel, there's always a stress in travel to begin with. So you see that there, but then there's also that whole like relationship. You could tell like you were kind of like you definitely loved each other, but there was like you almost had different views of things, and then you didn't know when it was gonna possibly explode or not, and there was always this extra tension, which I thought was just such a great touch to this, because it's already an uneasy situation, the way it was shot and the graininess of the 16 millimeter, and it just all of it worked, I think, so well together. Like, so I mean, you guys may not have, maybe that was a plus that you guys were kind of like far apart, and didn't get to meet right away, because then there was that kind of added a little bit to it. I don't know, but it was just so well done, that part.
Yeah, that's all credit
I
to the
definitely agree. Yeah.
filmmaking. So like how slapdash the process is. You have a location one day, you lose it, you're traveling for 7 hours straight. So the conflict like builds, it's not conflict, but the relationship like quickens. Like you get to know each other very quickly, very deeply. And that only helps like these conflicts on screen. Not say this was not a dramatic like set, everyone got along, it was great. But yeah, just the pacing of the film, like shooting like 3 locations in a day, the train, the elements, it just added to that compression. And yeah, I'm glad that showed up.
Like you said, the elements freezing. It was, well, for me, it was freezing. It was very, very cold when we were shooting, and all of our locations like didn't have heat. You know what I mean, or outside or whatever. But what I hope that when the movie is like released on DVD or however it is, that they show all the deleted scenes, because Brad had so many like one-liners or little quips or like little cute little things that didn't make it into the cut that we are all seeing. And so I think that also helped, I mean, show like, oh, we do really love each other, but I'm glad that it came through regardless.
See what Emily just said and what Brad said, I had no idea, because Austin had our rehearsals separate. He did rehearsals with both of them and alone with me. So it was a very important process, and he took the time to do it. And basically, it was like November, and me and him are walking around in Eastern Europe at night for 2 hours, and I'm in character, and we hang out. And they didn't really know what I was gonna do, and I didn't really in detail knew about the relationship. I didn't know, just like my character doesn't really know and gets to figure out. And I think that helped a lot. It's a very cool approach.
Well, that's funny. Without giving a spoiler, well, what I'm going to say is out of context. I don't think you're going to understand. But there's the conversation you and Emily's character, you and Cass have in the bar, or I guess the bar or cafe in there, when you just go, "That's true," and you make that like sound when you're talking about it. Just crack me, because that was so perfect. And now I see it's like that, like totally probably makes that even more realistic by you being able to say that at that scene, when now you say how you guys were so separate the whole time.
Yeah, it's. I think it really helped everyone out, because you kind of get to do like 2 takes max of a shot, because it's on film. You can't really, it's not blooper friendly, shooting on film, and you get some reactions out of it, that they're genuine. From time to time, they get sprinkled around, and that's where the magic is.
Nice. So actually, talking about where you filmed it, that runs right into our next question. So you guys, filmed a lot in Serbia. So what were other than we want to know what it was like, compared to filming in the States, but also what are any challenges other than not having a Dunkin' Donuts nearby for Emily? But other than that, what were some of the challenges and differences, I guess, filming stateside?
Yeah, it is a very intimidating when you see a guy in a full jumpsuit with his arms crossed under, just looking at you like, all right, what are you gonna do? And it's like there was Serbian Jason Statham. That's what I called him. He was so toned and ripped, and he was the lighting guy. He was fantastic, and the lighting in that movie is so amazing because of him. And I'm sorry, his name escapes me.
Johnny.
Thank you. Yeah, it is an adjustment. It is an adjustment. Like when, it's one thing when they say action and you're like, all right, I gotta go. But when you see a bunch of very stern people who are pros in their field, like watching you and waiting for you, you're like, okay, this is real. This is like the big time. So it was an adjustment for sure. But yeah, man, the talent on that set was like off the charts. So you just tried to meet it as much as you could.
Yeah, it's funny because, Bruno's from that area. And so for him, it's just like, oh, no, he's not from right where we film, but, it's at least to like the beautiful architecture and, the people and this and that. And so, for myself and for Brad, it's just, for me anyway, I was just like, it's so beautiful here. And just, just loving being there, but also not being able to, a lot of the crew spoke some English, but like Wax Baby, who
oh, you can't tease Wax Baby to the listeners now. Wait till they see Wax Baby, though. That's the thing.
Like very sweet, but like didn't speak any English, and so trying to communicate with a naked man in between takes,
Emily's just dropping spoilers left and right now. Now you all know there's a naked man in the movie.
I thought I don't think it's spoilers.
Hey, we might as well do it. We might as well do it. It's progressive, full frontal male nudity. It's usually breasts, but we did it. We did it.
If anyone reads anything about it, they know usually people will mention Wax Baby, the naked. So no spoilers to what he does. But,
yeah.
So that was definitely just interesting. There's someone there to translate, and a lot of people knew English, or at least some English, but I didn't know hardly any Serbian at all. And so, I just looked like a big dumb American being like, do you speak English? But no, it was, incredible filming there. Everything is stunning and beautiful, and I would go back in a heartbeat.
So the next question here, we always ask this typically because we typically get some good stories out of it. Were there any funny incidents or crazy incidents that happened on the set?
I got one. Okay, Brad, you gather yourself. You tell yours. I'm gonna tell one of yours as well. So it's hope I didn't just stole it from you. One shot, and it's like a little goodbye scene, and it's like, bye, Gav. Take care. He just walks, like takes his jacket from the wardrobe thing or whatever. The whole thing crashing down, breaks down the mirror, shit falls off everywhere.
No, Brad, take
Wait, was I on the set?
Leave it in the movie. Just leave it in the movie.
Yeah, this guy put a price
production value.
Like this family heirloom inches away from the door. Okay.
Wait, time out. It was in Uncle's apartment when we first get to Uncle's apartment, if you know where all the things are. And so the set
the audience who have not seen the film do not know, Emily.
I know, but they've seen it, and so
very cluttered. It's cluttered.
Yes. That to my defense.
It's cluttered. Yes.
So yeah, there's a homeowner in Serbia who's missing his priceless spots, and
it sounds like I was on the set, honestly, because Tim will tell you I'm the klutziest person alive. So
oh my God, the whole set would be destroyed by the time Brian got there with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even make it to the camera rolling before the whole we'd be thrown out. So
yeah, the line between Gab and Brad was very blurred. That was a very Gab and Brad thing to do, just to.
Yes, you embodied it perfectly. So yes, I'm off the hook. That's my funny story. Continue, colleagues.
Oh man, Brad, what else happened?
Oh God, filming the intimate scene. like
I don't know anything about that.
I know,
I
it's just, I mean,
get the
you
viewers
could
on the
rattle
same.
off stories, but again, they're just stories about the magic of filmmaking. I'll leave it to
I
that.
don't think we need to go into the what
No,
happened in the intimate scene, Bradford.
I was inches away
Intimate
from
is the
I was
key
like,
word.
a horse like pooed there the night before. I was like inches away from it. I was like, this is the scene. This is the mood.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, see now people we have just like seriously whet the entire all our listeners to like their appetites to like tremendous. They want to see like everything now. Now they can't even really imagining what's in his head. What's a wax baby? What's this going on?
Yeah, like if you're not teased by now, like
yeah, I mean
we can't help you.
yeah, is there any wax baby bloopers? There had to been, like, right? There's got to be something.
I don't know. We can talk
We're
about
all too
Okay.
focused on ourselves to notice.
Okay. That's fair enough. It's okay. Well, kind of piggybacking on that question a little bit, and Emily kind of teased us a little bit, but what were there any scenes or sequences that you filmed that either came out better than you expected and totally blew you guys away, or was there anything that you were in there that was so great but it got cut and you wish it could have stayed?
Someone who's not me, please start. I need a sec.
Well, I don't think it. Sorry, Brad, you can go.
No. I was good. Well, the plot line seemed to evolve while we were filming. So plot lines that we rehearsed were dropped on the fly. Cass and Gav's relationship, there was supposed to be like a drawn out end to it, and that sort of got dropped. But I don't know, in terms of I think anytime Em and I were arguing, anytime there was a Gas and Cav moment where we could finally get a glimpse into their little bubble, into their little relationship, I was like, oh my god, this is okay, we're acting, I got it, this is something. And when you're shooting those scenes, like, wow, the chemistry here is just, it's so there, and it's like it translates so well on the screen. When I didn't see the movie until the premiere in Montreal, and we had a little spat at the abandoned factory, and I was like, that's great. This couple has been together for years, and they're at the end of their rope. And anytime it was Em and I it was better than I could have ever imagined. So, and that's
it was Brad and Emily in the scenes, but I was kind of feeding them lines, so I was there as well, and I remember it. And yes, I can say yeah. And also Brad, I hope there's like the spoof, whatever it's called, thing, because there's this great line you used that was on the fly. It was like, oh, maybe St. Paul's gonna come and pick us up.
Right. Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
I laughed. I snickered so hard. Like sound guys were like doing the eyebrow thing at me. What are you laughing at?
Yeah.
Movie.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Yeah, St. Peter. Oh, what is St. Paul going to come next or something stupid? And
yeah, I don't know. I snickered. So hard. I was like,
So
yeah.
Brad's background is very comedic. If you can't tell, he's a great comedic actor. So yes, Brad would throw in like these little gems all the time that didn't make it in. So I'm really hoping again deleted scenes.
We got stabbing like Marvin. We got stabbing like Marvin.
Oh my
that was
god!
Enough. We got stabbing like Marvin. That was a good line. We used it in the film. It was great.
Actually, yeah, he had a line. My favorite was, yeah, one of my favorite lines is, well, first we eat, then we boogie. That one cracked me up. I love that one.
Yes.
That was a written line, and I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm not used to saying let's boogie, but yeah, it really
not many people are.
It went, yeah, right. Yeah. There's a cock up with his ticket was another.
Oh yeah, that's right. That one cracked me up. I'm like, oh my god, I've never quite heard that phrase, but I think I'm gonna steal it.
I guess and I guess it helped because the character was drunk, which is the worst.
He has an uncle from Minnesota.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah. So yeah,
Brad, you played great drunk. Your drunk acting is chef's kiss.
Thank you.
Yes.
But that's the hardest thing to do. Like when because you can be so bad, it's like it'll bring out every bad tendency you have. But I'm glad it was ridiculous. It was not a cock up, as I said.
Not a cock up.
I think we're making that the official Civil War thing. Whenever Tim and I mess up now, we're gonna say, "Oh, we cocked it up. We got to do it
We
over."
cocked it
That's
up.
it.
I used to.
Cock up with his mic.
So one thing that I am really glad that they put in was after we were done filming back in the States was the ending in New York. That was all completely brand new. That wasn't in the script when we originally.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, for me that was like, okay, this is nice.
Yeah, and I thought that was a great touch. No spoilers, but a great touch.
I will mention Bruno and I, without saying anything. Bruno and I, our scene was such an experience, and also that came out better than anything I could imagine. So that was the big one. And
Thank you.
it's all
Question: which one?
Well, we have a big one, and
Big one. Does it involve walking, perhaps?
It walking, talking.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Bradford. I practiced that one for a really long time, and yes, thank you for yes.
Yeah,
it's very cryptic.
We're trying to build suspense.
Yeah, well, no, I'm sure all the listeners are like taking notes. Like, so when they watch it, finally, they're gonna get to see it. Yeah, no, you know what? It's so funny. Every time you guys say this and how well it worked, it's like I can't wait till everyone sees this to really see like that you guys aren't just saying that. Like the acting in this was so phenomenal and it worked so well.
Well, I kind of Brian again, the professional he is, kind of leads right into my next question. So this one's hopefully a little bit more fun, kind of a fun one. The film's been out the festival circuit. You've probably had a chance to see some reviews. Like, do you have any favorite reviews where people like, anything that surprised you, anything that where you said, man, they really got what we were going for? Or I don't know if you guys read the reviews, but I've been reading them and they've all been great.
Brad and I have one specifically catered to us.
Which one? Is there another one?
The one that said, Eight Eyes follows an insufferable hipster couple.
Oh, yes, I love that one.
And I got a good kick out of that.
Yeah.
Like you can't see me right now, but I have a gold chain, a vintage shirt. And,
well, that's because you filmed it one time in Brooklyn. That's what happens. You got the hipster tag right there. Because
hey, it's always a compliment if the audience hates the person that's supposed to be kind of hated, and if it's supposed to be a difficult couple and they're insufferable, then you did a good job, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, those teenagers in slasher movies are also insufferable with their dope smoking and
that was one bad one out of tons of very, very good ones. I think what I have been most pleased about is that people seem to get it. Like, it's an odd movie and it's kind of bizarre and a little wacky and out there, but
it is
like get what they're going for. They're getting like all of the previous 70s movies or directors, that it's paying homage to. Like they get that and they get the kookiness of it and the weird animations and like the this and the that. And so I think overall better, even more so than like, everyone has praised our acting as well, which is, thank God, but that people just really seem to be loving it, and that is what I'm most excited about.
I mean, when I first started watching it, I immediately picked up on the aesthetic of the 70s, and most of the movies that do that try to make it set in the 70s and they try to be retro, and which is fine. There's some movies that do that great, but I was so excited when I found out like this was being filmed with that aesthetic, but was not taking place in that era, and it was modern, and I love that contrast because I haven't seen a movie do that. So that was super cool.
With that is, I think it's the apart from the few technological, like the headphones and the phones, smartphones and stuff like that. Apart from that, those are little elements that kind of bring you back. This is not a while ago. This is now. But everything kind of looks like a while ago, which is, things do not look like that on the Balkans, but on the locations that we did shot, they did give off that energy. like something that has been stuck and rotting in time, which is a bit related to what the story is about.
Yeah, well, I think that helps too. The to add to the uneasy aesthetic, because like you almost like you get drawn in, you forget what time you're in. You know, you forget where you are. You forget that. Oh, wait a minute. Like
Yeah,
you know when like
this
when
movie does it well.
yeah, it does. And like when Cass was like, I'm gonna go call the airline and get home, I'm like, well, how's she calling the airline? I'm like thinking back then you had to like, I mean, you had to like go to the airport or a travel agent to get a ticket. Where is she? And, you know, and then you see her in the cafe on the computer. I'm like, oh, that's right. It actually is now. It's current.
Right.
It's just the aesthetic is back then. You know, so
Yeah, usually the cell phone like stops the plot. Like, oh, well, you can solve a lot of problems, but it's like a vehicle for the third act. So yeah, it
Yes.
was like seamless the way he Austin not only weave that aesthetic into modern times too.
yeah, no, I agree. It just that was just so many things that like you know there's movies you watch and you like pieces of it and you're like, oh, the acting was good, but this miss if this, and I'm not just saying that because you guys are on. I said this immediately to Tim, so he can attest. I said like everything hit perfect in this. It hit right.
Thank you for selling it so well. I want to watch it again now.
Oh yeah, it's good. You should like it. There's a guy named Bruno in it. It's really good. He's
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, but there's
um,
plenty of chances to watch it. There's a screening coming up.
I have all the screenings coming up. I don't know if you want that now or if you want that at the end.
she's got a big scroll that like unravels
Yes,
that she
yes, it's
opens
cool.
up, and you know
No,
she has
I mean
a
this
trumpet.
it kind of leads into our because we were going to
Yeah.
have you guys pitch your projects and then tell us where we can see it, so we can go into screeners now.
Yeah.
So, let me bring it up here real quick. Yeah, so the upcoming ones are Phantasmagoria horror film, and that's October 1st. It's the official selection in Wrexham. Am I saying that right? In United Kingdom?
Yes, United Kingdom.
And then Fanta Festival in Rome, October 8th, the Italian premiere, and it's also an official selection. And then I'm super excited about Telluride Horror Show.
Oh, nice.
Because
Yeah.
that's like a huge film festival. I mean, they're
Good.
all but I've always wanted to have something in Telluride. So that one's October 14th. And then Taste the Blood of Dead and Subburied Horathon in Sudbury, United Kingdom, and that's October 22nd. Also an official selection. Buffalo International Film Festival, October 5th, and then Screamfest in Los Angeles, the Irish Film Horathon in Dublin, Denver Film Festival, TO Horror Fantastic Film Festival,
wow.
It's a live horror film festival in Bulgaria, Splatfest in Warsaw, Poland, People Film Festival in Guadalajara, Morbido Film Festival in Mexico City, Razor Reel Festival in Bruges, and
Wow, this is
that's just the ones right now.
wow. Anything in Croatia? Because as Tim and I like to brag, we're the 133rd best podcast in Croatia. So
Nice.
so if people are out there, they're listening, they're like, wow, we might have to bump them up to like 132.
I mean, we're striving for 132.
Yeah,
we're gonna get there one day.
War Film Fest, whenever that happens.
Yeah. Nice. But if you want to, if you also want to pitch anything else you're working on that you can talk about, I know specifically Emily, we will save you for the end because I want you to talk about, even though it's not a film, it's something that's really creative that you've done with the candle thing. So we'll start with Brad and then go to Bruno, and then we'll finish with you on this.
Yeah, as Emily mentioned earlier, Cannibal Mukbang is coming out, and that's premiering at the Brooklyn Film Fest.
Oh shoot! I just got the email about the Brooklyn Film Festival too.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, because I was always going to try and go when I lived in New York, but now it's
well, I would make the trip. It's Amy Kuge's directorial debut, film debut. Amy Kuge is a great new voice in the film world, and I am so excited to see what she does next.
She's a great photographer. She did BTS for Castle Freak and for Eight Eyes. She's so
for Eight Eyes, well,
creative,
nice.
and like the best person ever.
sweet person.
Shout out Amy Kuge. And then, Puppet Man is premiering, I think, on Shudder, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yeah, because that's why we got the screener for that. So we're really looking forward to checking that. Like I said, we got it today, I think, actually. So I'm really excited to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah. That was great. I just did Black Eyed Susan. which I don't have any info about or when it's going to come out. Another great experience, but yeah, and I'm looking forward to what comes out next, and hopefully hitting up all these great film fests to see our film.
And you're on the Joe Bob show.
Oh, I'm like goblin number 8.
Oh.
I don't know, man.
I love this.
Listen,
I love this answer.
You know what?
This is such a nice setup.
Listen,
Yeah.
as 133rd podcast in Croatia, Goblin number 8 is a huge step up. So don't worry.
Yes.
I'm printing the t-shirt. So yeah, but yeah, that's me, and hopefully more coming soon.
Nice. Okay, what about you, Bruno?
I did a film called Hellhole. It's by the Addams Family, who
Oh, we had them on. Oh, we love them. We know them. I didn't know you did one of theirs.
fantastic.
Oh, they're the
Toby,
best. They're awesome.
John, they're just great. They're amazing. We had such a great time shooting that. It's called Hellhole. It's as we all know, the Addams Family, they did Hellbender, they did The Dipper You Dig, they
Oh,
did
both of those are
Pepper
fantastic
Rome,
too.
who just premiered like a month ago on the Fantasia Film Festival, where Eight Eyes had its premiere in Montreal, and it was just it was a great experience. So we're waiting on that one. I guess it's gonna be out in a few months. It's gonna be on Shutter, as far as I know. Yeah, as far as acting goes, that's what I did, and did a little short Serbian. It's not a short. I just have a very small part in a little indie Serbian art film. So as far as acting goes, that's what I've been up to. But as far as writing goes, I was a co-writer for a full feature animated uh, film for children from the ages of 3 to 7, which is a fantastic leap from being in a horror movie to writing children's stuff. But it went very well. We're polishing it, and hopefully, if everything goes right, it's probably gonna start production in like 6 to 8 months. And also because I went to school to be a director, and that's basically what I am. At the end of the day, I just shot my latest short film. It's around 13-14 minutes. It's still in post-production. We're gonna have it out in a month. It's called Objects in Mirror Are Closer Than They Appear, and it's a psychological thriller. We had a bunch of VFX on it. It was a very challenging shoot, but we managed to do it. I'm very happy with how it turned out. So yeah, I guess I'm operating on a few different fronts at the same time, kind of trying all venues out, I guess, and enjoying every step of the way, because I'm all about film, baby.
Nice. Well, you definitely keep us posted on all those projects too, so we can check them out. Because I know Tim and I are already sold. You guys are involved. We're in. Trust me. So Emily, what do you got? I know you did. Not to like steal your whole thing. I know you have a short film too. You can talk about, but also please mention your awesome candles too. I want you to get that out there.
Thank you. Yes, I just finished a short, and it's all within the protocols of the strike. No one overstepped any bounds there. We had permission. Everything was like a-okay there. And that was from writer-director David Flores, who I did a feature narrative podcast for iHeart Podcast with him. And so that's how I was connected. And we just did the short. It's like a dystopian sci-fi horror short. Should be coming out maybe within 6 months or so. I'm not sure.
Right.
And then still this year is it was called Savage Midlife, now Raging Midlife, with Paula Abdul and Eddie Griffin. That comes out
Oh, nice.
this year. And then so then just make candles that I that I need to be better about promoting. So thank you. It's the Black Wax. They make spooky candles, and I'm having a Halloween sale right now. Shipped to anywhere, even in Croatia.
Oh, see that, like, nice plug. But what Emily, you're selling that short. What's so cool about her candles is that every candle has a little story to it, like a really cool backstory to it. So you not only get the candle, but you get a nice little like horror like tale in there, which is really cool. So definitely, we share that all the time. So we share your podcast. So definitely check out Emily's page on that.
Like horror shapes. It's not like candles in a jar, not those kind of horror.
Right, yeah.
Spooky creatures and ghosts and shapes and stuff. And yeah,
no, she's got really cool. Like the Starling sisters are one of my favorite. The two,
Yeah, they're super cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on because
Yeah.
again, we always love to talk to filmmakers and actors and hear about these projects, especially the movies that we super love, like this one. And it sounds like you're doing fantastic on the festival circuit, and I cannot wait for this to get wide release so everybody can check it out and love it like we did.
You guys were so great. Thank you so much. This was a blast.
Thank you for having us. It was a really cool experience.